And I'm finally getting off my ass and changing the fuel tank because, as you can see, the huge mess that it makes. So I'm just going to change the entire tank. Seeing we're meant to get some snow, and I'm going to have to do some hours with it because right now it leaks more fuel than it burns. And there we go. Fuel tank's off, drained out. So yeah, that tank's off. Technically, I just had to change the valve, but I do think it might be leaking from this bottom seam. Right there, you kind of see it in the center of the screen. I'm not sure if that's showing up. Right there. I think that seam was leaking. I'll have to pressurize the tank, check it after, because I don't think it was all leaking from there. So anyway, time to pull the other tank off the new my new engine, and stick it on there. As for this one, chances are I'll probably just trash it. I'll keep the cap, because the cap's good. Okay, so I pulled off my shims on my pump because I decided I'm going to advance the timing a bit. And it only had the one shim. But I'm going to go take off my parts motor, one of the ones in the shed. I'm going to see what I have there. Of course, I got the pump off. I might even switch out the pump. Not too sure yet. Again, I'm pulling the gas tank off the brand new 10 horse. Some people might wonder why I'm towing a brand new engine. But I got to order a brand new tank anyway. And whatever I decide to put this motor on, I might not need the gas tank. So that one runs, started up first pull, right from the crate. So I could just swap on the entire brand new motor, but really the only thing that was wrong with this one is the fuel tank was leaking. So, which kind of makes sense. It's banged around in the back of my truck and who knows where. So, okay, so back to this one here. This one here you can see has been used. It has actually been polished up. Looks to be like it only has one shim in it. So I'll be popping that off. I'm sure the 4 horse has the same shim. The pump's the same, but they are not there's something different in the pumps. I think you could go from the 6 to the 10 horse with the same pump if I remember right, but you can't go from the 4 to the 6. So has the intake heater and everything. So kind of hate to kill this one because this one here turns over. Everything seems to be great. And they put a cap on it. So if they capped it, in my opinion, that means it's good. But I don't know. I'll have to pull her apart and kind of check it out and see. I'll be reinstalling this one so it's a little bit thinner. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to go something a little bit thinner so it'll advance the timing, and that might be just enough to clear up the smoke issue. And of course this old one, I'll shove back on this motor because this motor is just a parts motor. And of course, always remember to line up your fuel pin. I think that's the problem that Bill T. Max had the first time with his when he took it apart. He moved the fuel pin and it didn't line up for the first time when it was running kind of rough. And then after, of course, bleed the system. So I'll be tossing that back in and tossing this one back in the shed. But I'm probably going to remove this heater off it first because that 4 horse right there is like brand spanking new. So I might actually put a 4 horse on this air compressor build instead of a 6. Just because I want it fuel efficient. And I'm going to go for a smaller compressor pump and a smaller alternator. So because I'm only going to be using this for building the shop, building the garage, stuff like that. So it'll be for air tools, light duty. So anything heavy duty, I can always build something again after. Or upgrade it, of course, you know. And there we go, all back together, narrow on it. So yeah, I'll remember that I switched out the shim because it might smoke a bit more, but it should still run. That's not much of a change on the timing. So, but this could be all it takes. Again, that tractor is running just a little bit smoky, mostly because of the fuel leak, but I do want to advance it just for the fun of it and see how much difference it makes. So, because to be honest, my dad actually posted a video on his YouTube channel because we only had about that much snow, but I did some plowing and there is a constant haze of smoke, but again, it was leaking like a son of a bitch. His YouTube channel is DRV Shaft Drew. Well, DRV Shaft, all one word, space Drew. So he made a quick, like I think 6-minute long video of me plowing with it. So if you guys want to go check out his channel, he is looking for subscribers. So he's kind of getting jealous about how much money I'm making on YouTube and how many fans and everything I have. So go check out his channel if you care. Support his bad drinking habit. So let him make some money for drinking. So I don't know. I just had to toss that in. So yeah, I'll be reinstalling my pump and then I'll be pulling the new tank off the brand new 10 horse. So I was going to order a new one off eBay, but I can always order a new one for that. And once I do pull off that tank, Actually, I'll probably steal the cap off this and put that cap on it. And that motor will probably actually go into dry storage. So there is oil in it. And I had it running, but I'll probably put that in storage for when I really need it, for when I blow up this one. Here's the final measurements I'm going to get out of this. It's not the most accurate, but there you go. So inches and millimeters. So they do got a 10, like a 10 millimeter, 20, 30. That one would have been the 30. Before I had it just set. I don't use this style very often. I normally use the style that I was too lazy to actually grab out of my box because the air compressor is in the way. And the pump is on. Like I said, very important. Make sure that pin is lined up in the center there, which you can see it clearly is. Test your throttle back and forth, and then you know it's good. And you could use silicone to seal this. Never put silicone in between here because that's your timing shim. A thin layer of silicone might not seem like much, but it can make the difference between it coming loose after a while, and then these bolts will come loose, and your timing will be all out of whack. So just leave them dry. A diesel engine will always leak. No matter what, you're going to get a little bit of seepage, especially on this panel right here. So the only other way they could have did that was if they would have continued this to a little stud here, a little stud there, and put 3 screws on it. Or bolts, I mean. So basically, expect it to leak. If it doesn't leak, then there's something wrong with your engine, probably out of oil or diesel. So, like I said, perfectly normal, a little bit of seeping. If you had as much leaking as this one had, well, that is not right. So, but that's from the fuel tank itself. So, which sitting outside makes sense. Stuff gets dry, shit like that. But I'm gonna hook up my fuel line and then start pulling off my new tank. Okay, there you go. New fuel tank on her, not leaking whatsoever right now. Of course, I still spilt a little bit filling it up because those damn filters take forever to fill it up. Going to take something, I'm going to spray the bottom off, brake clean, and then I'm going to see if it's leaking a little bit before I even prime it. Okay, time for the test to see how she runs with the timing advanced and the new fuel tank. I already did give it a quick prime. My hood should stay there. Fuel's on. Knock her down about halfway. See how bad it leaks. Better. No leak up top. Any leaks down there, so might be good. I thought it was leaking for a second, but pretty sure it'll be fine. Okay, I'll take it outside for a bit to warm up. Running way nicer now. It's not smoking that bad now. It's a lot better than it was before, that's for sure. Don't think I'll take off in third gear at that RPM. I'll have to kick her up a bit more. gonna turn around now. Governor works good. Smoking pretty decent on idle, but that's normal for these. Always shoots us on idle. I notice as I'm driving, the vibration slowly knocks the throttle down. See how low she'll idle now? Turn off my headlights. No need to leave the headlights. Oh, look, a little bit of smoke rings. See the smoke rings? So like that for a while, maybe a little bit lower. Let it run like that for about 10 minutes. Everything looks good on her. Okay, so just starting my weekend. Just going over the tractor. Going to have to do some plowing tomorrow because we got quite a bit of snow. I got my magnetic block heater out of storage. I think this one's a 75 if I remember right. I don't know how many watts it even is. Oh, actually no, this one's a 200, so it's a lot. I thought I remember having a 75 and a 300. Okay, guess not. That's one I used to use as a backup for my Japanese mini truck. Yeah, I had a Japanese mini truck, a 1990 Daihatsu Hi-Jet. So, use that only in emergencies. You might be wondering how I'm going to stick it to a block like this, but I'll just turn on my light on my camera and then I'll show you. Okay, well apparently my light's actually on. Just seems for some reason dim. Basically I'm going to shove it right up underneath the tractor. Right up on the bottom of the engine plate. Right there, there should be enough room. It's not going to interfere with anything. And I'm probably never going to use it, to be honest. It'll be there just for emergencies. If I need to plug it in if it's minus 30 weather. But if it's minus 30 without an intake heater, it doesn't matter if you got a block heater, if you warm up your oil. It's hard to say because for it to transfer enough heat up to the top of the engine for a diesel to start, it might help, but I know it's going to help, but I still think I'd need glow plugs for minus 30 cold starting. We're meant to have minus 30 tomorrow morning, but just with that, it'll probably start pretty freaking hard if it did with no glow plugs. Okay, so I'm on my way to go do some snow cleaning. Going to fill it up with diesel, and now it seems like I have no leaks whatsoever. It's not really showing up there, but there's still a little bit of stuff on there. I did brake clean it off once, but Yeah, needs again to be sprayed again. Ooh, almost clipped my head on the corner of that when I got up. That would have sucked. Felt it freaking breeze my frozen hair. Well, not frozen, but wet. So, just checking everything here. Bungee cord. I do need to put a piece of rubber between that post in case it ever moves, but technically it shouldn't. I hope. Going to top it off with diesel. I got snow blowing, or not snow blowing, but snow plowing to do. It's about a 15-minute ride away. I am going to drive the tractor, just follow the side street. Neighbor down the street, and a bunch of people drive tractors technically in the city here. There's no law against it if it's used for a purpose, as in snow removal, or certain general purposes, towing a trailer, you can get away with it. Just for the reason that it doesn't go fast. If it was going like 50 miles per hour or something like that, or you're driving, let's say even 30 miles per hour, I could see getting in trouble. But this thing here, yeah, it's not that fast. So yeah, it's faster than a stock tractor, but not by much. So I'm going to top up the gas, check my tires, and don't know if I'll make any plowing videos because I only bring my phone with me. I'll have to see when I get there. And there we go. Just back. Took about an hour at 3/4 throttle, roughly. And that's how much I burnt. So that's not bad. It did leak some from the cap. This cap doesn't tighten up, so I got to grab the cap off one of my other engines. So it leaked a fair bit down that side, but it's only from the cap. Nothing at all underneath is wet. Just pull a cap off, probably that 4-horse for now. Or maybe the old tank actually had a good cap, so I'll pull one off that. Yeah, everything worked great. I do need to put a belt guard because it did throw the belt once, but that's not too big of a deal. So, and I don't know what else I'm going to do on it this week. Okay, so after looking at it, my lock here for my bar, if I can focus, right there, where that goes in is actually starting to get sloppy and loose. So it's on both. This rod here is starting to get a little bit square, and this is kind of getting a little worn out. But you can see there, looks like it has a fair bit of play. If I move it down to the next hole down, make sure it locks it in. Go right there. Now it's tight. There's really no play in there. So it tells me the rod is not bad, but I did look at it, it is kind of squared off. But this hole is getting pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is when I start driving this on the main roads, I almost want to have it down in the lowered position. But the bad thing is, if I have to hit my brake real quick, it's kind of in the way of my knee. The reason why it's bad like that is because you can see how it bounces up and down when I'm driving. So I'm almost thinking that if I'm going to be driving this thing at the speeds that it does with the plow on it, it's not going to be long before that gets broken. So I hit a bump today on the way to plow snow at another property. I'm not going to get into details. And this actually popped out here. So the spring just popped back. It lost its washer. I picked it up off the ground, stuck it back on. It just popped out just like that. And the washer came off here. So what I'm going to do is to stop that from happening in the future. I'm thinking I'm going to have some kind of clamp around here to stop it from popping off. So I'm not too sure. I could probably get away with having it maybe... no, I wouldn't want to do that. I could tack weld something across here to stop it from popping out. But then if I ever have to change it, that could be a pain in the butt. Another thing I could do is try squeezing this in a bit, which would hold it maybe a little bit more farther back like that. Maybe hold the washer a bit tighter. So looks like it's getting a little bit rusty. Have to give it another shot of paint. So belt did fly off. It's just when I was going from forward to reverse a little bit too quick. On this thing here, it's actually pretty nice for going to reverse, and then you just kick it into forward pretty quick. So it maybe I think the jolt from that made it lose its belt. No big deal. The motor was only running at about 1500 RPM. Shut it off, put the belt back on, and kept on going. No damage done to the belt. So yeah, way less smoke now. Everything's running great. Of course, if I just leave it idling with no load, it will start smoking because it's not running hot. But that's only in cold weather. Tonight, I just looked at the weather station. Tonight, we're meant to get minus 40 weather. Yeah, minus 40. Not too big of a deal. I was out with this before plowing in minus 35 weather. And that was an hour and a half one way, like an hour and a half there. Then I came back, warmed up, and then plowed outside here. Today I was on it for about an hour and a half. Again, today, went and did some plowing. Of course, everything was fine. And I can't believe how good on fuel it is. Way better than the gasser. Way better. So, but again, to be honest, the 10 horsepower, it just doesn't work. It's not straining whatsoever plowing. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting the plow on the 6 horsepower right here. And I'll put the plow on the 6, and I'm going to actually put the snowblower on this one. I got 2 snowblowers now, so I could keep the one snowblower on the gas Sears Suburban outside. Put one snowblower on this one, and this one here I'll try to plow. So this one here I just noticed today, it looks like it's leaking underneath. That looks new. Maybe I'll see it up on when I look at the footage here where it's leaking from. Maybe it's something I dumped, but I'm pretty sure it's coming from that transmission somewhere. So it'll probably have to be popped out, and I'll have to re-gasket it. Not too big of a deal. If it's going to be my plowing rig, I will do a locker on it. One of my tires were a little bit low, no big deal. Other than that, the air tank, I'm going to drag it in, put it in the basement, and I'm going out of focus. And I'll probably work on that in the basement workroom, or I'll bring it somewhere else. Not too sure about when that's going to get done. The 4 horsepower one diesel here, it actually fired up second pull. I started it up from sitting since October, and it started up second pull. So pretty decent motor, that one. The parts for the generator, they were on back order. So they said probably 30 days before the back order's fulfilled, and then who knows how long till I get it. Not too big of a deal. I'm in no rush for that. Well, nice and cold Saturday morning. Everything pretty much is frozen. Even the salt won't melt the ice. As you can see, all the salt on there. It's about minus 30 or so. Got a guy coming to look at some diesel motors, so I got to go unbury them. Well, that's looking a little bit empty right now. Just got rid of a whole shit ton of motors, so time to go buy myself a new toy. Don't know what I'm going to buy yet, but I got to fill in that space pretty quick. Sweet.